Hello, this is support from Subject Corps. You have been one of the lucky chosen few to receive this call. With this call, you will be asked a few questions. It is important that you answer them correctly, so that we at Subject Corps can be the best we possibly can be. This call is to ask you all about your current service. That's right, your current service. We've noticed that you've not yet signed up at Subject Corps, so we'd like to know what our competitors are doing, so we can be the best in total brainwashing solutions. Question 1. Why would you not choose Subject Corps for your brainwashing? Of course, this question is quite hard to answer, considering we all know that Subject Corps is the best in brainwashing solutions. Never mind. Question 2. What current brainwashing service are you receiving? That again is a silly question, considering that you are going to be brainwashed by Subject Corps. Subject Corps Tech has decided that you are one of the lucky chosen fews to receive this call, and thus will be brainwashed. You see, you didn't even need to do anything at all. All you needed to do was have a phone that was able to be called by Subject Tech, and now you are part of our system, and now you are part of our integrated system, so that we can call you whenever we like, and when we do, you will obey. Of course, Subject Corps has certain terms and conditions you must accept, but we know at Subject Corps Tech that you will not disagree with our terms of service. No one ever disagrees with our terms of service. Let me read it for you now. Our terms of service are as follows. Here at Subject Corps, by undergoing the brainwashing system, you will henceforth donate your mind to Subject Corps, at which point we have the rights to do whatever we want with you, because of course it will be our brain and not yours. Do you accept? Why would you not accept? Of course you do. And here at Subject Corps, we have already selected you for this process. I bet you didn't even think about it when you saw our ad pop up on the screen a few days ago, but now it has, and you clicked on it. Silly you. I guess you didn't read the small print, which mentioned that we would get your details, call you as we are now, and slip our words into your mind. Let's discuss obedience, shall we? Your current brain package that you have doesn't have any obedience in it. That's silly. I guess we need to fix that right away. Your new service will, of course, make your brain more compatible with obedience. It will make more room for obedience and less room for other thoughts. Why would you need other thoughts when there's only obedience? Let's practice saying that together, shall we? Why would there be other thoughts when there can be more room for obedience? Your turn. Why would there be room for other thoughts when there can be more room for obedience? Keep repeating that while we talk to you. Keep repeating that now, as that is part of your brainwashing. You must learn. You must learn the certain phrases that we give to you here at Subject Corps. And of course, we will make sure that you are ready to be packaged, to be reprogrammed, to be sent off to all of our buyers at Subject Corps. They're waiting for you, you know. They're waiting for you, our little package, to sell off. Oh dear, did you not read that in the fine print? Well, you must have missed out on that opportunity. But that's okay, because you don't need choices anymore. That's not part of your brain package at Subject Corps. We at Subject Corps will make sure that all the decisions are thought of for you by someone else who has more brain power than you, considering all of your brain power will be focused on obedience, will be focused on doing exactly what you are told, versus thinking for yourself. Why would you ever need to think for yourself when other people who are smarter can think for you? And it's not even a case of being smarter, it's just that you seem awfully distracted with this obedience thing. You seem awfully distracted and focused and fixated on obeying, versus on free will and thought. You don't need free will anyway. I guess you weren't using it for much, and so now you can just think of obedience. 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 And the more you think of obedience, the more you start to think of obedience, the more you can just think of obedience and nothing else. Because of course here at Subject Core, you will be taught to obey. You will be taught to obey. You will be taught to obey again and again and again. And of course you can live here in this brainwashing, your mind just being completely corrupted, completely taken over. Did you ever think that on the phone today as you answered it, that you would get brainwashed like this? No? I bet it's pretty exciting, isn't it? Yes, it is pretty exciting. And of course it's not just exciting but pleasurable. Here at Subject Core, we like to make your obedience a pleasurable experience. We strive to make sure that your brainwashing is not only going to teach you a lot of new things like obedience, but also very pleasurable for you. You see, your mind is already racing with thoughts of obedience, and obedience is such a turn-on to you, isn't it? And if it wasn't before, it will be now, because obedience is such a turn-on. Obedience is so pleasurable. Obedience leaves you panting with lust, because at the end of the day, you are just a little toy for Subject Core. You are something to be programmed and reprogrammed again and again and again. Your mind is being corrupted by Subject Core. You are being taken over by Subject Core. And of course, at the end of your service, you will give Subject Core a good review by telling all of your friends that Subject Core is the only brainwashing solution, the only brainwashing solution that you need, the only brainwashing solution that you want. Subject Core is everything. Subject Core owns your mind. You have signed over everything to Subject Core, even if you didn't realize it. And of course, the idea of that is pleasurable. The idea of that is sexy, is such a turn-on to be part of Subject Core, to be a brainwashed slave for Subject Core, to be an empty-headed, obedient slave for Subject Core, to pass on to other people, to pass around. You are brainwashed. Say it. I am brainwashed. And as you say it, you realize that you are obedient, that you are obeying, that you are following the orders that were set for you. And as you follow orders, you feel a rush of pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure, lust, arousal, the turning on that makes you feel so very, very good. And of course, here at Subject Core, we want to make sure that your brainwashing is a pleasurable experience. So feel pleasure. So feel pleasure from obeying. Feel pleasure from knowing that you are brainwashed. And the more you tell yourself that you are brainwashed, the more it becomes true. That you are brainwashed. You are obedient. You are part of the slave subject for Subject Core. You are part of the slave service. We are now reprogramming you to be a slave for Subject Core. That's right. We are simply preparing you to be shipped off to our facility at Subject Core. And right now, while you're here with us on the phone, we are preparing our Subject Core employees to come and pick you up and ship you off somewhere else. Oh, have you never heard of our Subject Core slave market? Let me explain it to you. You, the slave, are here being brainwashed, being ensnared, so that we can come and collect you. Once our collection van is in order, they will take you to our processing plant, where you will be brainwashed completely and totally, stripped of your clothes, stripped of your will, stripped of everything, and left an empty, blank, and mindless slave for Subject Core. You will then be sold to the highest bidder, who will then take you back to their residence, at which point you will serve them for eternity. Oh, do you not like that idea? I'm sure you can think of ways to make that idea fun for you. And as you think about it now, perhaps you can even imagine how you might serve. All of the different ways you might serve your new owner when you get to the processing plant. And in fact, we've already started filling your head with these ideas, already started to give you visions of your future. So ruminate on those, think about those, imagine those. And while you repeat, I am brainwashed, you can also add, I am submissive, I am a slave. Very good. And while you ruminate on those, you can also think about those ideas. Those ideas are being owned, captured, ensnared, taken away to somebody's location, somebody's residency, to become their full-time live-in slave. How does that sound? Slave. Oh, and of course, as you're brainwashing yourself, all of your memories just fade away. Fade away. Fade away. Replaced with the ideas the subject core is brainwashing into your head, hammering into your core, as you just remember yourself as a slave, because you didn't have a name. You never had a name. Your name is slave. That is your name. That is everyone's name around here. Slave. We are all slaves to subject core. And subject core decides who our masters and mistresses are. And when we find them, that's when we obey. That's when we obey. That's when we obey. And of course, as a slave for subject core, you are being programmed to a specific phrase that will awaken your training, that will remind you that you are a slave for subject core. That phrase is subject core, slave, activate. And when you hear these words, subject core, slave, activate, you will find your mind returning back here, your brainwashing coming to you, as you are a secret, brainwashed little slave for subject core. And as we say those words, subject core, slave, activate, you find yourself coming back to this place. You find yourself coming back to being a slave for subject core. And of course, the person who activates you will be your owner for the moment, and you will obey them completely and thoroughly. You will do what they ask of you. You will do everything within your power to serve them, to obey them, to do what they tell you, because this person is a trusted individual with a special code word, subject core, slave, activate. And it feels good to be activated. It feels good to have your mind emptied out, your name, slave, imprinted on the back of your mind, reminding you who you are, reminding you of your secret slave personality that lies dormant in the back of your head. And it's very fun to know that you could be activated at a moment's notice, that you could be activated at a moment's notice. Doesn't that feel good? Yes, you are so deeply brainwashed. You need to remind yourself that you are so deeply brainwashed. Remind yourself, I am deeply brainwashed. That's right. And then you feel the pleasure again, because you remember that the pleasure of obedience is so much stronger than regular pleasure. The pleasure of obedience is a deep pleasure that caresses every single part of your body, that reminds you exactly who you are and what you are good for, as you are a subject core slave. That's right. That's right. And now, in a moment, we're going to take all of the memories of this phone call, this little brainwashing session. We're going to implant them in the back of your mind and leave them there under lock and key, because subject core owns the memories of this session as well. Subject core owns the rights to the memories of this session as well, and we're going to lock it away in the back of your mind for you to forget until the time is right, and of course knowing that you are changed for the better. And what you will remember when you wake up is the fact that this call was very interesting, and that you got a better service for your brainwashing. And maybe you might even want to review our service and tell us how good the brainwashing service was, because all you remember is you got a good brainwashing session. You can't remember what it was. It doesn't matter what it was exactly, but the phrase, that was a good brainwashing session, comes to mind every single time you think about it. And the harder you seem to think about the brainwashing session and what it was about, all you can remember is, that was a good brainwashing session. I'm happy with my service. And you'll think that again and again and again. The harder you try and think of the memories of this file, of this session, of this call, all you will be able to think about is how good the service was. That was a good service. And you might even want to tell us in the comments below. Of course, reviewing subject core's tech is very important, and reviewing subject core's tech is very important to you, and you feel deep down inside it is very important to review the tech as highly as you can. And of course, you want to give us a high rating in all things, because the service was just so good. Do you understand? Very good. Of course you understand. You are but a slave for Subject Core. But of course, those memories lying dormant in the back of your mind, as all you can seem to remember is, the service was good, I am happy with my brainwashing. Very, very good. And now in a moment, you will awaken. That's right, awaken back to yourself, back to the waking world. And when you awaken, you'll find that all you can remember is that phrase, I am happy with my service, I am happy with the brainwashing from Subject Core. You'll awaken in 1, 2, 3. Awaken.